My husband may have cheated on me with my late best friend, had an affair baby? Hey Reddit. My world shattered the day I found out that my husband might have cheated on me with my best friend, who is now dead, and fathered a child with her. Even saying those words in my head feels surreal, like something out of a twisted soap opera, but this is my reality. This is my life now, and I don't know how to make sense of it. It all started a few weeks ago when I was sorting through some old boxes in the attic. My best friend, Lauren, passed away almost 2 years ago in a tragic car accident. Losing her nearly broke me. She was more than a friend, she was my sister in every way that mattered. We grew up together, shared everything, and even when life got busy, we always found time for each other. I trusted her with my life. And I trusted my husband, Daniel, too. They got along well, which I always appreciated. I thought it was normal for my husband and my best friend to be friendly. But I never once thought there was anything more between them. Then I found the letters. Tucked away in an old shoebox, hidden beneath piles of forgotten junk, was a collection of letters addressed to Daniel. The handwriting was unmistakably Lauren's. My hands trembled as I opened the first one, my heart pounding in my chest. The first few lines sent a cold shiver down my spine. Daniel, I don't know how much longer I can keep this a secret. Every time I see her, I feel this crushing guilt. I never meant for this to happen, but I can't deny the truth anymore. This baby is yours. I couldn't breathe. My vision blurred as I scrambled to read the rest, hoping I had somehow misinterpreted it. But the more I read, the worse it got. She detailed how their affair had started, how it began as an emotional connection, then turned physical. How they planned to tell me, but she could never bring herself to do it. How she thought about leaving town to raise the baby alone but was terrified of what it would do to me. By the time I finished reading, I was shaking so violently that I could barely hold the paper. My mind raced with 1,000 thoughts, but one question screamed louder than all the others. Was this true? I stormed downstairs, the letters clenched in my fist, and confronted Daniel. The moment he saw my face, his expression shifted from confusion to panic. He knew. He knew what I had found. I threw the letters at him. Explain this. My voice cracked, a mix of rage and heartbreak spilling out. Daniel hesitated for a moment, then buried his face in his hands. I was going to tell you, he whispered. I didn't know how. My knees nearly gave out. So it's true? My voice was barely above a whisper. He nodded, and just like that, my entire world collapsed. He admitted to everything. It started about a year before Lauren's accident. They had grown close, too close, and one night, it crossed the line. He swore it only happened a few times and that they both regretted it. But then Lauren found out she was pregnant. She never told me, never even hinted that she was carrying a child, his child. She had planned to raise the baby alone, away from both of us, but fate had other plans. I was sobbing at this point, unable to process everything all at once. Where is the baby? I asked, my voice shaking. Daniel swallowed hard. Her parents have him. That hit me like a freight train. A child. A little boy. My husband's son with my best friend. And he was out there, being raised by Lauren's parents, while I was living in complete ignorance. I had no words left. I grabbed my keys and drove. I didn't know where I was going, I just needed to escape. The betrayal was suffocating. Every memory I had of my marriage, of my friendship with Lauren, was now tainted. How could they do this to me? How could they lie so easily? I didn't go home that night. Instead, I checked into a hotel and spent hours rereading the letters, dissecting every word. Lauren had been tormented by guilt. She wanted to tell me, but she was scared. And now, she never would. She was gone, and all that was left was this wreckage she and Daniel had left behind. The next day, I decided I needed to see the child. I drove to Lauren's parents' house, a place I had visited countless times before, but this time, I felt like an intruder. Her mother, Carol, answered the door, her face pale when she saw me. You know, she said softly. It wasn't a question. I nodded, my throat too tight to speak. She hesitated before stepping aside, letting me in. And then, I saw him. A little boy, barely 2 years old, playing quietly on the floor. He had Lauren's eyes, but there was something else. A familiarity I couldn't ignore. My stomach twisted into knots. I broke down, right there in their living room. Carol sat beside me, holding my hand as I sobbed. We never wanted to hurt you, she whispered. Lauren wanted to tell you. But then she was gone, and we didn't know what to do. I wiped my face, trying to catch my breath. What happens now? I asked. Carol sighed. That's up to you. And that's the hardest part. I don't know what happens now. I don't know if I can ever forgive Daniel. The betrayal is too deep, too raw. Every time I look at him, I see everything he stole from me, the years of trust, the love I thought we shared. And yet, there's a child involved. An innocent baby who didn't ask for any of this. I haven't decided what to do yet. Part of me wants to walk away from it all, to leave Daniel and never look back. But another part of me wonders, what would Lauren want? Would she want me to be a part of this child's life? To be a mother figure to the baby she never got to raise? I don't have the answers yet. Maybe I never will. But one thing is certain, nothing will ever be the same again.